Hey, what's up? It's Comic 95, the Savior, and sorry, just got a message. But, yeah, anyway, I find it really funny how I literally, y'all keep giving me more and more video ideas, so I keep making videos addressing people like haters and things like that, and I swear, 99.9% of the time, it is always a white person, and almost always a white guy in particular. Normally someone that doesn't even have a profile picture, doesn't have their name listed. Why does everybody want to contact me right now? You know, just little things like that. And so the other thing, if that's not bad enough, it's not just a matter of them hating on me or my content, but rather trying to disprove what I'm saying and seeing me as just, oh, you're just being whiny, whatever. Guys, I literally have separate parts of my channel. I have journal videos in which I detail and talk about things that happen in my day-to-day life to give other people insight on what it's like to actually live here. Not the glamorized version talking about green tea lattes, matcha, and how Japanese people are so wonderful and look at the anime and video games. Of course I like that stuff. I literally also made a video addressing why I chose to stay in Japan despite these things, because keep in mind, these are just journal videos. In my mind, of course, there are plenty of things that I enjoy in my day-to-day life, which is why I've chosen to stay here. I hate to say it and sound cocky or braggy or whatever you want to call it, but I gotta keep it real. I'm from America. This is the country that everybody almost wants to go to, has gone to. Even Japanese people, they wish they could live, work, and study there. Almost anybody that you talk to, it's their dream to live in San Francisco and or New York. And the ones that have chosen to go to other countries like Canada or even the UK or Australia, normally Canada or Australia, it's because it's significantly easier to get a visa there. Whereas the US, they make it hard for you to, go there as a student or to go there to work. That's facts. My country has literally everything that this country has and everything that it doesn't have. I'm literally here for a new experience, to learn a new language, to learn about a new culture, and on top of that, for me personally, I find that life is easier here. It's easier to find a job, it's easier to make a livable wage, etc. There are tons of things I dislike here, but there's also tons of things that I love here. I already have videos on that topic. I've already addressed this a million times. This channel was not made to bash Japan, to hate it, to scare people. If you even look across my channel, almost anytime somebody says something negative and like, oh my god, watching your channel or watching your video makes me scared to come to Japan, I never sit there and agree with them and be like, oh my god, yeah, don't come here, don't make the mistake that I did. I always tell them this is my experience, this is what happened to me, this is reality, but there are other good things to make living here worth it. Do what's best for you. This is my experience. Always do that. But for some reason that translates into I'm just some whiny you-know-what sitting here complaining about Japan for some reason, even although the majority of my channel is not journals, but rather most of my videos are me giving advice to help people that are living, working, and studying here. That's where most of my subs have come from. The reason why you guys even know about my journals is because for most people, you came to my channel for information. So you clicked on one of my videos about working here, dating here, or studying here, and then you came across, oh, she makes journals. What's that? You started watching it and you're like, hey, this is interesting. I get to see what it's like, get insight, what it's like to live in Japan as a woman. What's it like to live in Japan as an American, as a black person? Or maybe, maybe you're not even black, maybe you're not a woman. You just want to know, just out of curiosity. What is it like for this person? I have guys, lots of guys actually, that aren't even US citizens, aren't black. They just enjoy watching my content because it gives them a different, insight, different whatever, not outlook, but different experience, a different view of Japan that they've never seen before. Because regardless of what race the YouTuber is that you watch, the J-vlogger, there's no other channel like mine, like how I said. I'm not saying that to make other people feel bad. People do their own thing. I decided this is, the niche. I can never decide how I want to say that word. This is the niche that works for me. This is what I like to do. I like giving advice videos, and I like giving videos in which, as this person said, oh, you're being whiny. Somebody sent me a whole email complaining about my content, and I'll get to that in a second. But I'm thinking, that's what you do in a journal. You talk about yourself and your life. Not to mention, if you go back all the way back from my first journals, I normally used to always disclose and say, when you're watching my journals, this is not some made-up video where I have full face makeup, hair done, etc. Sometimes I do happen to have those things done, but this is not a video to be glamorized and background music, etc. It's just real talk as it is. And it's about myself. So, yeah, the goal is not to sugarcoat and hide my true feelings. There are going to be times I'm angry, or I'm crying, or I'm whiny, or whatever you want to call it. It's a fucking journal. What do people do inside their journal? Do you act conservative? Do you not tell how you really feel? No. You cry in that bitch. That's what you do. Okay. So, anyway, and then talking about, oh, you're crying to avoid, wasting your time, blah, blah. I'm not crying out into a void. I'm getting paid to share my life. I'm getting paid to tell people what's going on in my personal life. I don't give two fucks about you judging me. You don't have a real name on your account. You don't have any content. You don't share your age. You make no videos. You probably don't or haven't even lived here before. Why do I give a crap about what you have to say? So, that's that. Just want to explain that part. So now, let's specifically address what this person has to say, because there's other people that agree to that. Like I said, I constantly get it. It's always a white person too. And it's really funny because they always complain about black people playing the race card, etc. But the really funny thing is, I said this on my channel before, it is only white people that go to videos that they don't like. If you don't like black people, you don't like hearing about racism, why do you click on videos about those things? I literally don't get it. You know what I do when I don't like something? I said this before. I don't seek after content about it. And if it gets recommended to me, I don't click on it and watch it. I sure as hell ain't finna waste my time and energy to leave it a comment. And then even like with dislikes, like I have people that'll call themselves not liking some of my content or liking a video of mine, or even like if they see me on a dating site or whatever, they'll go to my Instagram or Twitter, etc., click on the link and then like just go through and start disliking videos. And I'm like, y'all thinking that that's hurting me. I've said this before. You don't know how YouTube works. You're helping the algorithm. It's better for you to click on my video and leave a dislike than it is for you to click on it, hate my video, and walk away from it. Because now that you've left your dislike, you've engaged with my video. You've shown a reaction to it. YouTube does not care whether you like it or dislike it. It all counts as engagement. Not to mention, you're helping it look more natural on my channel. It's kind of weird if all of your videos have nothing but straight, pure likes. When I call out white people, like this video in particular, you'll get a lot of dislikes too. Why? Because the majority of the people watching my content are white. And you want to know what? I don't give a crap. If for some reason you manage to be a subscriber for me for long enough where me talking about facts and stating the facts, sorry, hate to break it to you, but people of your race tend to give me the most hate, tend to do whatever. That's between you and God. That ain't my issue. If you've been there for a while and you know me, you know that I'm not legitimately attacking you or your race. I'm talking about the bad people, the YT people, not you per se. I don't have to explain myself, especially not to the majority. Get out of here. So, yeah, that's that. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, where in any of my videos do I try to make people think, oh, this is, all of Japan and don't come here, it's a horrible place, blah, blah, blah. Which, not to mention, let's be realistic, it's not cupcakes and rainbows like how you all see online. That's why a lot of the people that come to my channel, they're so shocked and amazed by stuff because all you have ever seen was Japan is perfect, Japan is this. Even Japanese people preach that same stuff, like lying about how clean, safe, and everything is, blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, they're white lies. There's some truth to all of those things. But there's a lot of misinformation out there about these topics. I've talked about cleanliness, I've talked about fashion, I've talked about work, I've talked about relationships, all of those topics. Safety here, the police here. These are 6 topics, there's probably more that I could think of, that I've gone over on my channel, in which I've shared information that no other YouTuber has shared. Nobody knows about. People that live here know, but those that don't, they don't know. Why? Because nobody talks about it. There's even people that have been living here for a long time. Do you know that my friends, I hate to put them on blast, my friends I was hanging out with the other day, and they were talking about how, if people don't care about your clothes, like fashion doesn't matter here, whatever. And I'm like, that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, if anything, I feel like people care more about what clothing they wear here than they do in the US. And so she was like, really? And I could tell the whole time I was talking, like, both of them, they were like, that's just your opinion, Rin, but that's not true. But I'm thinking, like, no, that is true. Anybody that you talk to here, they're really, like, focused on what brands you're wearing and how fashionable you are. Look, now don't get me wrong, you can get away with wearing cheap clothing, whatever, as long as it looks nice and fashionable, like it is expensive. But people admire good quality, clothing, they admire fashionable people, etc. You've told yourself that your clothing doesn't matter, and you've decided to dress like a bum. You've decided to wear things that don't look right, don't match, that just look, lazy, effortless. And because you're an adult, nobody's gonna, clown you for what you're wearing. But people are looking at you as, oh, she's not fashionable, she looks sloppy. They're just not expressing it to you. Just little things like that. The whole thing about fashion, showing leg. Again, white person, I'm not going to say probably. I know for a fact. In fact, I could think of at least 2 channels in particular whose content I watched back before I came to Japan when I was a teenager myself, who were, advocating about how, you can show as much leg as you want because, leg is okay, but cleavage is not. That is a huge lie. That is a huge lie. Even for Japanese people, it's a lie. But especially for a foreigner. And so again, it's like, for a lot of us, people don't know how to read their minds, so to speak. Because they're so busy thinking in their own language, thinking in their own culture, that a lot of things go right over their head. So unless somebody's clearly angry, clearly going off on you, clearly stalking and harassing you, people don't realize, hey, people are whispering, talking about you, people taking pictures, people doing whatever. I had a friend, I swear I'm not trying to get these people, but I gotta say it. I'm not gonna say no names. I had a friend, really an associate once again, who doesn't know how to wear clothes that actually fit this person. She wears bras that are too small, too tight, and it looks really bad, bulky and bulgy under her clothing. She's very, very busty, much more so than I am, and she's also very, very fat, much bigger than I am. And she doesn't realize that because of the clothing that she's wearing, because of how tight it is, and that you can see, her bra and everything through her shirt, and that you can see that her breasts are spilling out over it, she's getting tons of attention from creepy guys. Almost every person that we're walking by is looking at her, laughing with their friends, etc. I'm not excusing it. The Japanese people are wrong by all means, but we have to state the facts here. In her mind, she's thinking nobody cares what she's wearing, nobody's noticing her fashion. She thinks she's wearing the appropriate size clothing, and I'm thinking, like, do you not feel that people are looking at you, laughing at you, taking pictures of you? Like, you can choose not to care if that's how you want to live. Whatever. I'm not going to judge you. That's you doing your own thing. But I'm just saying, like, these are the same people that would jump on here and be like, oh yeah, people don't care about this. This is okay to do in Japan. And it's like, you're just blunt. I could literally hang out with you for 2 hours and disprove what you're talking about just by seeing the reaction that you're getting, people staring and looking at you. But that's a whole other story. We're not going to get into that. What we are going to get into today is I want to acknowledge this person's email. So I'm not going to bother to read the whole thing, but I want to kind of like, explain it, recap it or overview, like explain it. So this guy went in and was talking about, he took the time to go to my blog. You know who you are, person. I'm not going to bother to read your email. If you want to be, a little punk and leave a comment here, go ahead. So told me that I was a loser and I was pretending like foreigners can't earn above teaching salary. Said that I'm not skilled enough to do anything else. I sound out of touch with reality. I'm jaded. I'm a petty, lying loser. What did I lie about? What am I being petty about? Jaded for what? Where do I say anything about teaching salary? So let me just read the whole thing and then I will address it. What else did he say? Your advice about Japan isn't advice, it's cope. You're inventing an image around yourself to make yourself feel better. Entitled, bitter loser. Says it again. I love playing the race card. Grow up. Can't believe you're around 26. LMAO. I earn 7.2 million yen annually. First job was at an Eikaiwa, which I did for 9 months. Get skilled, get paid. Whining on YouTube and lying about your experience in this country isn't going to pay the bills. You are truly, truly pathetic. It's just sad seeing the drive, out of the L, drivel or drivel, you bring up. You want to sound like an authority on Japan, so bad, but you're just a loser in a gaijin bubble, ranting into the void, sad, so very sad. Bye, enjoy being miserable. Regards, Dwayne Blackwell. And even bothered to leave his own fake email at, what is it, Proton Mail, whatever, like fake email account, pussy. Okay, Dwayne Pussy. Let me address this, like I already said. First of all, I know you're not making good money because people that make good money talk about their monthly salary, not their yearly income. 7.2 million yen is not a lot of money for starts. Secondly, you're lying. Third, on top of that, let's say that for some reason you were making that much money. Sir, that has nothing to do with your skill and has nothing to do with the length of time you've been in Japan. Sorry, but, oh my God. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. White people seem to not get this. And there's even some black people in this too, but I gotta be real, it's normally white people. Being the exception is not the rule. Let me explain that again. Being the exception is not the rule. Do you know that you can watch the news in Japan? And I have seen at least 2, if not about 3 to 5 foreigners here. White guys, even a black one, working as journalists, newscasters. These people are making good money. They are so fluent in Japanese, they sound Japanese until you look at the screen. You cannot detect an accent from them. They have careers that require you to not only be able to speak and understand Japanese, but I'm sure that also require a high level of being able to read and write in Japanese, which would include kanji. When I watch those videos and say, this is a job that you can have. There are foreigners living here as doctors and nurses, real nurses. No offense, but I'm not talking about CNAs, nursing assistants, etc. There are my university professors. I went to an American school. They're making good money. Would it be realistic advice for me to say, oh, these are jobs and careers you can get? Because I know of people that are doing these jobs, that are making this money. No, it will be extremely misleading. Because how many of you not only have the credentials to get those jobs, because most of you don't, but they're extremely competitive, and they don't even hire 1,000 people living here. There aren't even 1,000 jobs available for that. There's over 1 million foreigners here, or typically close to that much. That is unrealistic, bad advice, not practical, and again, the exception to the rule. That would be the equivalent of finding a black person that is filthy rich in the U.S. and saying, black people aren't living in poverty, all of my black friends. Ma'am, you live in a rich neighborhood where everyone in your neighborhood is affluent and makes good money. But most minorities are living in poverty or they are a part of the working poor. Is it every black person? No. Is it most black people? Yes. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about that. Even for myself, I am making more money than the average teacher in Japan. Am I making the highest salary possible here? No. Am I making the lowest salary possible here? No. But I am not going to pretend like my salary is normal. The reason why I get paid more than the average teacher is for a few reasons. One, again, one of the things I get clowned on this channel, and it's funny, I just got through watching a video from Graham Stephan, who gave advice that goes right along with what I was saying. Do you know that the average person that stays at their company for more than 2 years makes 50% less? 50% less than the person that quits earlier. Interesting. Especially nowadays, because people are desperate to find people to fill jobs. Everyone's hiring. You'd be a fool to not take your skill elsewhere to a job that's going to pay you more, recognize more. I've said this on my channel several times. If I stayed at the first few jobs that I had, didn't get fired, didn't quit, didn't get pushed to move elsewhere, I would still be making maybe $2,300 a month or less. When I got my first visa sponsor for my work visa, I'd be making $2,500 a month. Do you see where I'm getting at? If I took that advice, stayed with my contracts, didn't change jobs, nothing, I wouldn't be getting paid more. Not to mention, like I said, okay, 7 million yen, roughly what, $70,000, whatever, which I don't believe that. Good for a foreigner, yes. If you have a family, not super impressive, sorry to break it to you, especially if you're living in Tokyo or something. Not to mention, once again, this is just this person saying. Doesn't list what they're doing. Doesn't say what their career is, how they got into it, what their degree is, blah, blah, blah. And then, excuse me, let me move my camera. I'm sitting in my bed. And then it's like, not even just that. The other part that really gets me too, crap, now my screen is like freaking out. The other part that gets me too is, it's like a lot of you guys that are doing other things career-wise, like for example, you have your own school or you start some sort of real estate business, it's not you. It's your wife who's really helping you run this whole thing. It's not your business. It's always some old bald and white guy married to some Japanese girl that's either fat and ugly, 10, 20, 30 years older than him, he would have no interest in if he didn't have yellow fever. And that's fine. You do what you do. That's between you and God. But let's keep it real here. Don't try to pretend like it has anything to do with your skill, your credentials, or anything else. You have what you have because you have a special connection. I could do the same thing much easier than you because I'm not a man. I can easily marry a... I'm going to let y'all in on something that my patrons already know. I actually dated a millionaire, and I've dated 2 doctors here. Most of the people that I've dated have also been engineers, making upwards of $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. I can easily date and even marry someone that can easily help me start my business stuff, easily help me buy whatever I want to, want or need for YouTube, etc. I can do the same thing too, but unlike you, I want to work my way up by myself. Do I like money? Do I like people to have money? Well, yeah, of course, I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Do I want to use someone else's money to do what I would like to get done? No. I want to start my business on my own. I'm not saying that everybody here is doing it that way, but let's keep it real. The vast majority of you are. Try to find a school here run by a foreign guy who is not married to a Japanese chick. Find me a school. I promise you it's going to be less than 100 of them out of the thousands of schools that exist here. In fact, I don't think I can name you one school. Interesting. So again, that's fine, no shade, but you see what I'm saying? It's misleading. It's easy for you to say, oh, I was able to do this, I was able to make X amount of money. I'm not stuck here, you're just bitter. I didn't even say anything complaining about the salary. I always talk about how my salary is good because I know how to turn down jobs. I know how to negotiate salaries. I'm always giving advice on those things. I just recently made a video, in fact, that's probably the one that triggered him, in which I was talking about the fact that I turn down jobs that don't pay me at least this much money. I made a whole video about my requirements for working at a company. And then lying. What have I lied about as far as my work experience goes? If I wanted to lie to you, I could pretend like I've been the principal somewhere and I haven't. I actually was offered the position to be a head teacher somewhere before. And I ended up throwing that away. That would have been, I've been a head teacher before, but like this would be like a head teacher, like, VP level. But I didn't do that. All of my experience has been working in a kindergarten, working in a kaiwa, being an assistant teacher, being a pharmacy tech, working retail, being a maid at a maid cafe. Yeah, that's really worth lying about. What? I don't need to prove anything to you all. Not to mention, I have tons of videos detailing my experiences. I have documents, proof of what I've been paid, etc. If I'm going to lie to y'all about something and shoot, then I'll pretend to, be a RN or something like that here. What's there to lie about? And then even then, careers like that, they don't pay that much money here in Japan. Even like teaching, they all pay significantly less. And again, I said this before, but do not confuse teaching. Like, people lump it all together. You cannot compare someone being an Eikaiwa teacher or an ALT teacher to an international school teacher or, a Japanese kindergarten teacher. Their work conditions are all different. Their salaries are all different. Their job expectations are all different. It's not the same job. It's the same kind of career. They're all under, the category of educator, but they're not doing the same kind of teaching. For example, you can easily get a job being an ALT or working in Eikaiwa, but most international schools are very choosy with how they hire people. They normally require a lot of experience, a lot of hoops to jump through, and the application process is significantly more competitive for most real international schools for homeroom teacher positions. That's just facts. The most competitive ALT job there is being on the JET program. But even then, there's no real experience required. The hardest part with the JET program is really just passing the initial interview in order to get on board with it. And that's mainly because they have so many people that apply to it every year. Not because the job itself is prestigious. They literally do the exact same thing as any other ALT job. But it's because the pay is good, the support system is good in comparison to other companies, etc. And they offer, placement other places, not just in Japan. You can work with the JET program in other countries. It's not limited to just here. They also work with countries where people are not seen as native speakers. For example, Jamaica. Jamaicans do speak English. They are native English speakers. But for most places in Asia, they are not treated like it. So that's all a whole nother story. But anyway, I'm thinking like, okay, sir, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care if you're making 10 million yen a year. Which again, sorry, not a lot of money unless you're living by yourself. Once you're an adult, you have a wife, you have kids, $70,000 a year is not a lot of money, especially not when you're living in a major city. Sorry to break it to you. You thought that you sounded really smart, that you were doing something. But again, I don't care if you're making $1 million a year. You will be the exception to the rule. The exception is not the rule. Just because you are making more money, you have your own business, you're doing whatever, I don't care if you're an engineer, what you're doing. How many jobs are available for what you're doing? How many other foreigners can do what you're doing? Exactly. It's not realistic. Not to mention the people that go off and do these type of jobs. The other part that makes it unrealistic is look at the amount of work, effort, and energy you put into doing your career, to getting that job. Was it worth it? For example, there are jobs here that do pay nice, that do offer short hours, etc., but then they want you to have a very high level of Japanese. And normally it's not just spoken, but they also want you to have a high level of reading and writing. And so you might be like, oh, that's what I want to do. I can already speak Japanese, etc. It's like, no, they want it to be even higher. I'm sorry, but by the time that you've gone through getting your master's degree, speaking at an N1 level, in Japanese, doing all of that crap, being paid $60,000 a year is not really a lot of money when I look at it that way. Again, if you're by yourself, it's nice. You get married. When I have a family, the majority of foreigners living here are men, not women. So even for myself, that would be good. I've made close to that. I've made over, $50,000 a year. That was the highest I've ever been getting paid on my own, not living in Tokyo. So that means it was really even more money in the Kansai area. Your standards have to change for what's considered high salary and low based off of where you're living. If you're living outside of Tokyo, $70,000 a year is kind of good. Living in Tokyo, $70,000 a year is a livable wage. That's nothing fancy. So, my phone's gone off. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be right back. Let me answer this. Okay, so there's one more thing that I actually want to add. Excuse my voice. I just woke up. I'm in the middle of editing right now. But I was like, wait, don't just take my word for it. Not only is the information out there, you can easily do 2 ways to test this on your own. Look at both Google, do a Google search, and you will quickly be able to see what the average salary is for foreigners here in Japan. And second to that, you can do your own survey and conduct your own data research. You can go to these job boards like Craigslist, Gaijinpot, Career Cross, all of the other ones that you can think of here, and you can clearly see, excuse the motorcycle outside, you can clearly see what the average salaries are, how often these places are posting, looking for new employees, as well as how many people they're looking to hire. A normal, good company anywhere in the world does not need to hire a new employee for what was supposed to be a 1 to 3 year contract on a 3 to 6 month basis. That means that the people that you just hired a few months ago for some reason chose to quit. Like I said, I'm vocal about it, but clearly there's more going on that you guys don't know about. So like I said, don't just take my word for it. Talk to people that live and that have been here. And if the people that, are arguing or complaining about this are being honest with themselves, you'd be a liar if you said that at most companies here, people have been working there for excess of 2 years. Most people literally have only been there for either 1 year, 6 months, 3 months. After that, they either leave Japan, which is the more likely option, or they choose to work for another company. If you talk to people that have been here for 5, 10, 20 years, etc., you will not find a single person that's still staying at the same job. They quit, they change jobs. It always happens. So again, don't just take my word for it. You don't have to live in Japan. Go to Gaijinpot. You will see the same 10, 20 jobs in any given city that constantly post that they're hiring for the exact same position. And you'll be like, weren't they just hiring 3 months ago? Didn't they just fill that position? I've had jobs where I didn't get the job, and the person that they hired over me quit, and they were posting again looking for a new applicant, or they got back to me, oh, are you still looking for a job? Type thing. So like I said, it's not just me. Do your own research. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. Don't believe me? Look at the job boards yourself. They, unlike in the US, they actually show you what the salary that they're offering is. So it's not even like it's a mystery what you're going to get paid. You can do this, conduct this research for any career. It doesn't matter if it's IT work, engineering, nursing, translation, anything you could think of. They show you what the salary range is. So for the people that are in my comment section or other places on the internet capping, talking about how they're making $80,000 a year or $100,000 a year, first of all, they lying. And second, if they are, if you happen to be the unicorn out there that is, like I said before, being the exception is not the rule. Making significantly more or significantly less than someone is not advisable to use your story, your scenario, your example to pretend like that's average. I can even say for myself, most people that are my age, especially in Japan, they don't have my experience. For starts, I'm on the younger end for applicants. Just now, there are starting to be some people that are a couple years younger than me. But generally speaking, most teachers here are either in their late 20s or they're in their 30s. I'm approaching my late 20s finally, but even then, I've never worked with anybody younger than me before. Do they exist? Yes. And the people that are younger than me that are here, guess where they work? Dispatch companies, ALT jobs. And what happens to them? They work there for 3 months, they work there for a year, and they quit. They give up because their job bullies them out of choosing to be in Japan. They think that's how all of Japan is. That's facts. People don't come here to make careers and stay here for the rest of their life, because the reality is, no matter how smart, how skilled, however you are, you're not going to make a lot of money here. Even doctors get paid crap salaries here in comparison to what they would have in another country like the US. The cost of living in Japan is actually a lot less than in America, to be honest with you, especially if you live by yourself. Because even for the most expensive places, like living somewhere like Shibuya, for example, you could never live downtown somewhere like in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, etc., and your rent is under $2,000. You can choose to rent a nicer place that costs more, but that's not even an option for you. Your salary also tends to match what you get paid. There's tons of jobs here available in Tokyo that pay within a $3,000 to $4,500 range, which makes it really easy to afford the rent here. But most of you are not making that money, even if you're living in Tokyo. The majority of you are getting paid less than $3,000. That's facts. The majority of you are getting paid less than $2,700. That's facts. It doesn't matter if you know somebody that's the exception to the rule. I'm the exception to that rule. But I don't go around preaching to you all, oh, it's really easy, everybody makes as much money. That's not true, even for native speakers. Because really it goes a step beyond that. If you don't have a relevant degree, most jobs that pay more money will not be willing to give you more salary. Or if they give you more, your work conditions are different then. You normally have longer hours, a more bad environment, or you had a connection and or got lucky. For example, I told you guys this before. I had a storytime video where I went to the school that was, international school, and it was Japanese, but all of the staff there were Filipino. They're not seen as native English speakers, even although, similarly to Indians, they learn English at a native level because they've been exposed to it, most of them from birth. It's a spoken language in most people's household, but again, they're not treated as native English speakers. But that's all a whole nother story. So like I said, don't listen to me. Don't take my word for it. Do it yourself. You'll see. Don't listen to me. Do it yourself. Go ahead. Go to Gaijin Pot. Look at the jobs available. Look at the salaries that they're offering. You'll see it yourself. So that's it. Just want to add that in here. You can easily conduct your own research. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, so I'm thinking like nowhere on my channel do I say, this is the only salary you can get, you can't make more money than this, but I also am realistic with people. I'm not going to lie to you and say, yeah, you can be an engineer, you can be a journalist, you can make $100,000 a year in Japan, because it's not realistic. I know several foreigners that have started their own businesses that are making way over that. But again, that is the exception and not the rule. The same thing can be said for YouTube. There are YouTubers, tons of them to my knowledge, that have over 1 million subscribers. But if you actually look at the statistics and data, that is the 1% on this channel. We can all name at least 10 channels that have over 1 million. Some have millions. And then I think, what is it, 5% or 10% have over 100,000? You would think there's way more than that. But that's not true. That means like what, 90–80% of people on YouTube don't even have 100,000 like myself. Sure, you can use examples of people that are millionaires and this, that, and the other, but it's like, guys, that is the exception and not the rule. It would be unwise, unrealistic to pretend like anybody can be rich, everyone should quit their job, everyone should do YouTube. You can do it and make it big and get lots of subs, etc. But it would be unrealistic to pretend like anyone can do this. Everyone can do this. It's misleading and bad advice. Do not confuse my videos giving advice from me telling you about my real life. In fact, if anything, which is why people do like my channel, it's being realistic. People normally do one extreme or the other. And I'm a real person. I do both. People normally only give advice videos in which they tell you do this, don't do that. Or they only tell you about their life. And it's fine to do that. I totally understand, especially those that just give advice. Like I said, it's really easy. I said that before on my channel. I can easily pretend like my life is perfect here. I can easily lie to you about what my life is like here. I don't have to tell you guys about the bad situations that I have. I don't have to tell you about being, lied on, fired, blackmailed, cheated on, whatever. Groped, molested, none type of stuff. I don't have to say any of that stuff. I can keep it all to myself. And you'd never know. You never know. I don't have to share that. But I do it. I try my best to be as transparent as possible. Of course, there's some things that I'm never going to share to protect myself, and because I don't feel comfortable sharing it. I'm still human. I have feelings. So, my phone is blowing up. Okay, so yeah, and so again, like I totally understand people that choose not to share that stuff. It's for obvious reasons, because when you do it, like me, when you share things about yourself, you have to remember that the majority of people that are watching your content, they're enjoying it and you're helping them. But for some other people, instead they say, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to take shots at you, to judge you, to do whatever. And it's like, I'm not living my life for you. And again, for the people that don't like me, the white people that hate me so much, feel so up on my content, but you can't stop clicking on it, you can't stop watching it. Thanks for the views. Thank you for letting me, a black woman that you claim to hate so much, live rent-free inside of your mind. When you leave your comments, leave your dislikes, go around spreading hate about me online, you're doing nothing but boosting my name, because now people that don't know who I am, you're going to make them want to come check out my content. Now, the dislike or engagement that I wouldn't have had, I have that comment, I have that dislike. You're literally just helping me. You're giving me ad revenue. And if you're not giving me ad revenue, you're bringing in more viewers. So thank you. I'm not losing sleep over you all. In fact, y'all ignorant comments and messages, you inspire these videos. And what happens? I get more views, more money. You give me more ideas. It's just helping me. I win either way it goes. So, and it's so funny because y'all so used to people lying to you. You get mad at people like me. Everything I've stated on my channel has been facts. Either I tell you about myself or I tell you about what life is here is like. You cannot argue with me about what people are making here salary-wise. There's literally statistics and polls conducted by unbiased people who are not me, both in English and in Japanese. The average foreigner here is only making somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 a month. Average foreigner, which means there are people making significantly less and significantly more. And on the more side of it, the higher end workers here are making between $3,000 to $6,000 a month. If you are making more than that, like how you claim to be, clap, clap, good for you, ho, but let's keep it real. How many people are making that much? Likewise, if you are making less than $2,000, you are on the very low end of potential salaries here. There are tons of people making less than that, especially people from non-native English-speaking countries. People that are doing so-called blue-collar work. A lot of them are here doing labor jobs, working in factories, farmlands, etc. Okay, they are the exception and not the rule. If they were to make a channel and talk about how foreigners don't even get paid $2,000 a month, blah, 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 it would be slightly misleading because they're working in a field that happens to pay that little. I'm working in the field that not only most people want to do, but the majority of people are doing. Y'all have given teaching a bad name or bad rep because y'all over here working for Eikaiwas and y'all doing ALT jobs to hire anyone. Real teaching positions do not just hire anybody. They require real degrees. They require real qualifications. They require real experience, real skill. Teaching is not a job that anybody can just do. Do not let your experience living in Japan fool you. Being a circus clown and holding ESL flashcards and singing and dancing is not normal teaching. Don't get it twisted. I've done that type of work before. I'm not bashing you. I'm a teacher. I normally teach young students, so I know that all too well. But again, if you're going to make content about working or living here, especially since I'm speaking to an English-speaking audience 90% of the time, native English-speaking at that, I'm going to talk about the work that I do, the work that you do, the work that you want to do, the work that you will do. It's significantly easier to get a job and to make money here being an English teacher. Whether you start your own business or work for someone else, it's significantly more profitable. Y'all white people spend so much time trying to, be the unicorn. Y'all want to get away from being an English teacher so bad. And it's like all the work and effort that you put into doing that, you either making the same amount as somebody that's also teaching English or very close to it. Sure, you're using your Japanese skill for work, but sorry, I'd be damned if I spent 5-6 years studying a language and they only pay me $70,000. That's it? That's all you're getting paid? What skills do you have, sir? Mr. Pussy Pants, what skills do you have? And you said like it was a badge of honor. I worked here for 9 months. Oh, so you didn't honor your contract then? Because your contract wasn't for no damn 9 months working at Noe Kaiwa. Tell the whole story then. You also interestingly said what your yearly income was, not what your monthly income was. You didn't say how you're making it either. But I'm the jaded, bitter one. This is something really interesting that I saw a little while ago and it really spoke to me. Successful people don't waste their time talking to unsuccessful people or even other successful people. You will never see Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, whatever. They're not going to go around and find other people that are competitive with them, Elon Musk, etc., and leave them hateful comments, write them emails about how they don't like them, etc., and what they can do better. It's poor, broke bitches, losers like you that do that. Normal people don't do that. Even myself, I'm not rich, but you will never see me going around on YouTube. There's tons of people here on YouTube that irritate the crap out of me, even within the Japan community. But you want to know what I don't do? I don't go to their videos. I don't leave dislikes. I don't watch their content. I don't hate on them. I just know their content is not for me. Thus, I don't waste my time. I'm not going to waste an hour of my day writing a whole hate email to them like a little bitch, like a high school girl. Sir, you're grown and you're claiming to be making over $70,000 per year. Yet, you proudly just sent me a hate email calling me a loser and everything else. Apparently, you're a loser because me telling people what the average salary is here, me telling people what the work conditions are like here, makes me jaded, makes me a loser, makes me a liar. Interesting. He's not the only person. There were comments left on that video too. The typical white people solution. You don't like where you are? Go back to your home country. Time to pack your bags and leave. Okay, well, y'all white people ruined the U.S. too. Go back to Africa now? You mean the country that you ruined? So I'm thinking, like, what's the solution? How does that solve anything? Yeah, keep running away from your problems infinitely. Okay. Then these same white people want you to sympathize for them when their Japanese wife runs off with their kids. Then they want support for you. Then they realize, oh, I'm not Japanese. They don't treat foreigners fairly. But before your kids get kidnapped, then all of a sudden it's, assimilate, blend in, I'm tired of you all pulling the race card, blah, blah, blah. But you have no problem pulling the race card when your Japanese wife runs away with your children. Then it becomes, we don't get treated fairly. It's them versus us. They give Japanese, parents the custody, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what happened to the race card? Magically disappeared for you, huh, when it's convenient, right? So, where am I at? 10 minutes into this, 10 minutes into this next part. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm really like entertained and tickled by this. So ignore the reality that most people here are working as English teachers. Ignore the reality that when people choose to come to Japan, this is the career that they normally not only want to have, but the easiest one to get to. If you're wondering, why would they want to have that? Because the other job options here suck. You work for a regular Japanese company, you're subjected to regular Japanese rules, which typically do require you to either work long hours or do a lot more work than what you're getting paid to do, even if your hours are within reason. the hiring process also tends to be more complex too. And there's also less job opportunities. So again, yes, you can get a job doing other things. I know foreigners here doing office work. I know foreigners here being engineers, everything else. And you want to know what they have to also deal with? They don't have the same benefits. They don't have the same environment. They don't have the same off days. They don't have the same flexibility. Because if anything goes wrong with your company, your job, your career, you cannot just get up like how I can and say, well, I'll find another job that'll pay me more, that'll treat me better. No. You're working as an engineer for this company. Good luck finding another job that's going to hire you, especially if you're not a native English speaker. Especially if you're not, at a native fluent level in Japanese. You can forget it. And if you do find another job after you quit that one, you're going to be limited to working in normally a major city and working for a lesser salary normally by moving to another company. That's facts. You're also one of the first foreigners to lose their job in situations where they have to do cuts, a company's losing money, or in this case, a pandemic. That's facts. You can fight it and argue it all you want to. So, it's like, I literally don't make the rules. I'm telling you, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me about working here. Look at the comment section of my videos about that. Ignore the, butthurt white people that can't stand the fact that I offended them by saying that Japan isn't perfect. Look at the comments from the sane white people, from the sane black people, from the Hispanic people that actually have experience working here. Not just me. I always advocate this on my channel. If you like Japan, don't just watch my content. You need to listen to what other people, watch other people. I'm not saying don't believe me, don't listen to me. But I am not your God. I am not every foreigner here. See, listen, watch, read what other people have to say. And you will see that people have the same experiences as me. The difference is I talk about mine in detail. Look at all of the big J-Vlog channels here. Do you know what they all have in common? They all started off here as a teacher. And what did they instantly stop doing? Teaching English. They quickly branched out into something else. And when you ask them about their experience teaching English, do any of them say, oh, it was marvelous, it was wonderful, I loved it? No. What they tell you is, it was stressful, it was a bad environment, they decided to quit. They don't go into detail though. They just leave it at that. They will never tell you why they really left. They won't tell you that they got fired, nothing else. They give their excuse and they end it at that. I go into detail. I tell you all the way from how I got hired to how I got fired to how I quit. You're getting more insight, more detail, more information than the average person from me. That's just facts. They don't have to do what I'm doing, but I'm explaining why the content seems to be different. But it's like, no, we're all singing the same song. Let's say that there's no content to talk about this. Guys, use your own freaking eyes. If you live here in Japan, you will see any company you work for, any company, the longest employee that's been there will be somewhere between 1 to 2 years. Every other person quit. It is not just me. It is not just you. People don't even normally finish their contract. And unlike me, most people are more of a quitter. See, when I quit, I just don't like my company. I can separate having a bad job, a bad relationship, even a bad house from the entirety of Japan. I've been through it all. I've wanted to leave because of those things, but I calmed down. I made videos on this before you guys, reminded myself, this is just my job. This is just my relationship. This is just my house. This is just my city. Move, go somewhere else. You'll be happy. You'll be fine. And it works. And you want to know what? I've done that and then found myself miserable there too. You want to know what I do? I move again. I'm not blaming the universe for my problems, but I'm also not going to let Japan off scot-free either. So y'all want me to let Japan off scot-free and pretend like, oh, all of my problems are just me. I'm just a bad, silly foreigner, whatever. I can acknowledge when I've done things wrong. I do it on my channel all the time. I always talk about things I regret. I made a whole video talking about regrets that I have being here. That's not one of them though. So just keep that in mind. So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, so you want me to lie about why foreigners quit here? You want me to lie about how much money they're making? What else should I lie about then? You lying about your salary. You lying about what you do for a living. You lying about how long you've worked at places. Is that supposed to be brag worthy? And again, like how I said, real winners don't go around leaving hate comments. Real winners don't waste their time going through people's videos, leaving dislikes. I don't care about that. Like I said, you're thinking that it's hurting me, but you're literally just adding to my engagement. You're not successful until or unless you have haters. Successful people always have haters. Always. It's inevitable. It doesn't matter how nice you are, how good you are, how honest you are. People will find a reason to dislike you. That's facts. You can give nothing but good advice, good information. For example, I have videos, common sense. I don't make the rules, talking about how you need a degree to work in Japan. No, you don't. My friend of a friend, they did this, whatever. It's like, come on, you guys. Let's stop with this exception to the rule type crap. Yes, there are ways to do it. I already talk about that in my video. There are ways to do it without it. But look at how much harder it is. It is not easy by any means. By any means, it is not easy. It's harder. Significantly less likely to get a sponsor. Significantly less likely to get hired. And then even if and when you do, how much do you get paid in comparison to someone that has a degree? How much harder is it for you to switch companies, to go to another city, to negotiate your salary? Exactly. Try negotiating your salary with no college degree, with no work history. Good luck to you. You'd be lucky if you make $3,000 outside of Tokyo. And even within Tokyo, I bet you cannot get that $4,500 salary that you desire, that company offers. You're going to be their last choice when there's no other applicant they can hire and they're desperate. Nobody wants nobody that has no college education. It's facts. I don't make the rules. I play by them because I have to. This is not my choice. This is not the way that I want it to be. I didn't choose this. It's just life. I would be a liar if I said otherwise. Don't argue with me. Do your own research. Japanese immigration. Go to their website. It's literally listed there. What are the requirements for a work visa? Tells you the requirements for both different ones. There's an instructor visa, specialist in humanities, etc. It's all listed there. This is not my own 2 cents. This is not my own information. Don't argue with me. Argue with immigration. You have all these stories about these friends of a friends, this other YouTube video you saw. Okay, but do you have a visa? How much are you making? How many times have you switched jobs? Ask yourself that. Because anybody can get lucky and find a job. Sorry, but making $4,000 a month ain't gonna cut it after you have kids. Especially not if you're living in Tokyo. Sorry, but the reality is, while you might get lucky, you might know a friend of a friend and start your own business, the average person living here with no degree isn't even making $3,000 a month. As a grown man, that's shameful. The majority of foreigners here are men, so I'm speaking to you all. I'm a woman. I could sit on my ass and look pretty until I die. I ain't got to work a day in my life. I'm choosing to work because I want to, but I ain't got to work. It's easier for me to live here. I'm already a woman. I'm not expected to work. I'm expected to stay at home, take care of my man, take care of our kids. I get the easy way out. You don't. It's harder for you. You're expected to work and provide. And because of your career, because of your circumstances, your wife is going to have to accept the fact that she's probably always going to have a job, or she's going to have to accept the fact that she's going to have to live like she's poor. Because even if you're making $5,000 or $6,000 a month, sorry to break it to you, but when you have even just one kid, paying for the 3 of you off of just $5,000 or $6,000 a month, that's not a lot of money, especially not as your kid gets older. What are you going to do about paying for school, extracurriculars, university, etc.? You're going to be struggling here. That's not ideal. You could find some little fetishizing girl that just want to have a mixed baby with you, whatever, and that's fine. That's between you and her. I'm not judging y'all, but I'm saying let's not, pretend like your exception to the rule, your wild scenario, your made-up career that doesn't exist, that's everybody here, or even most people. Not even 20% of people can do what you're doing. So it's not advisable to pretend like this is a real option for people. People love saying, oh, I have a government job, I do translation work, I do whatever. Yeah, right. Liar. How many stable, full-time jobs are available doing translation work that's going to pay that much money? Exactly. Would it be realistic to tell everyone, oh, come here, learn Japanese, do this, you can get this career, do this job? No, because the majority of people not only do not have that type of language ability, but they don't have the time to gain it and it's not worth it to do so. And then even if you get all of that, let's say that you are the perfect applicant, you have N1 certification, you have a master's, a doctorate degree, all that good stuff. How competitive will it be to get that job? You're going to be competing against other people that run circles around you in language ability, circles around you in education, circles around you in experience. You think they're going to hire you over them? Keep dreaming. Good luck. Quit living in fantasy la la land. I would love to tell you that there's more salary. I would love to tell you that work here is perfect, this, that, and the other. I've debunked some mess. For example, people talking about, oh, you know, work life in Japan, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, as I said before, most people don't work those crazy hours, even for Japanese people. They normally get off and leave work right on the dot, if not minutes early. People normally start leaving work between the hours of 5 to 7 o'clock. They don't stay here at no 10, 11, midnight type stuff. Okay, you see on TV and on YouTube. Do some people do it? Yes. Have I dated people that did that? Yes. I told you guys, I talked to a guy who his job actually had like a private apartment built into the company because they knew that their employees would have to stay overnight at times. They had a washing machine, a kitchen, all of that. And I didn't believe him until he gave me a tour and even brought me up to his job. Because at first I thought, this man just cheating on me. But nope, he was being completely honest. He would talk to me on FaceTime. And then eventually he brought me up to his company. I met his boss, met his coworkers. I was like, wow, he was really telling the truth. Because at first I'm like, you at some bitch house, ain't you? What company has a washing machine? A full kitchen? Come on. But it was legit. It was legit. It was in Kanagawa. So, just giving you an example. I have no problem with debunking things, etc. My goal is not to hate on Japan, crap on it, scare you, whatever. But it's to be realistic. When the average person here is working as a teacher, the average person here is making under $3,000 a month. It is not practical or realistic to give some wild example of somebody making much more. I'm a YouTuber. And between having my blog, my Patreon, and my YouTube channel, and when I am working, I'm making way more money than almost any of you all watching my content that are living here. But you want to know what? It wouldn't be realistic for me to use my salary, my income, to pretend like, oh, anybody can do this, anybody can make this much, etc. That's not realistic. I'm not even making that much from YouTube because the salary is here. Because the salary here is that low. My income just from, my online business with YouTube and crap is making almost as much as some of you all doing your, factory jobs, etc. And so that's why I say, like, if you caught me back years ago when I first started this crap, you might have been able to successfully scare me out of making videos. You might have successfully scared me out of, oh my God, I shouldn't talk about this again. This white person gonna get angry. Now I just laugh at y'all crap. You just motivated me to make a whole video in which I'm clowning you, talking about your crap. And I'm going to get ad revenue from this too. So thank you. It's really not hurting me. I feel good about the people that I'm helping. Not because I'm scaring them or whatever, but because I'm sharing that you're not the only one that has bad experiences here. Other people do too. In fact, I feel good about that. I cannot tell you how many times I get messages on Instagram and even Twitter of people telling me that I saved them and that they thought about, harming themselves or ending their life, and that I helped them, finding a job, this, that, and the other, that I gave them motivation to stay in Japan or to get a new relationship, whatever. I helped those people. I'm grateful for that. And they were happy because in their mind they thought, this is only me. I'm the only person that's experienced this. But no, you're not. It's just that everybody's afraid to talk about it and share it. Who wants to talk about their failures? Nobody. People like to brag and talk about the good things in their life. Normal people do not enjoy or get, I'm sorry, my bang's like irritating me. Normal people do not enjoy or get some sort of sick thrill out of talking about all the negative things in their life and about how bad things are and this, that, and the other. That's not fun for them. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. And like I said, when I share things like this, I'm hurting myself career-wise because anybody that chooses to hire me, they can just search my name, look me up, and be like, oh, she makes this content, she shares stuff, she felt the way about her job. We don't want to hire her. We don't want to work with her. I'm risking my career here by helping you guys out. Whether I'm providing you with entertainment or giving you knowledge to help you plan coming here or encouraging you because you are here, etc. I'm hurting myself at the same time. That's just facts, but for me it's worth it. I feel good knowing that my bad days, my bad experiences are now helping someone else. That's fine for me. I can't make everyone like me. I can't win everyone over. I want to be real. And if an employer is upset at me for being real, for helping other foreigners, then that's fine. So be it. So, it's whatever. Think and believe whatever you want to. Take it however you want to. But like I said, nowhere on my channel do I pretend like my experience is all Japan has to offer. But at the same time, it shows that you have a problem if you can't handle somebody criticizing or critiquing Japan, or someone talking about a negative experience here, if that makes you go over the edge. You wouldn't have that same reaction if I talked about the US in that way. But then again, you're white, so maybe you would. I can talk about a bad day, a bad experience, a bad encounter in the US. And most of you would understand me then. But if I talk about a bad day, a bad experience, a bad encounter, a bad law, a bad rule, a bad whatever in Japan, it instantly becomes attack the person. Not the situation. Forget about how badly they treated me. Forget about what they said about me, did to me, whatever. It instantly becomes, I'm the problem. I need to leave. Okay. Doesn't sound very adult-like. Doesn't sound like somebody making $70,000 a year, which you think $70,000 is good. That's comical. For a grown man. Yeah, okay. I'll keep it real. I'm not going to cap. You're making more money than I am if you're really making that much. But sorry, comparing yourself to a, as you said, almost 26-year-old, it's supposed to make me feel like I'm old or something. I'm in my 20s, dude. I'm a girl. Graduated a few years ago. How much am I supposed to be making? And in Japan at that. You said like that was a bad thing. Okay. What successful person takes the time to type up a whole junior high style email? You can't even write an email properly. Between the typos that you had and the regards thing. Who says that? Regards. That's copy paste email style. You don't even know how to write a formal email. Idiot. And you're a coward. Couldn't even send me an email from your real email address because you were afraid of me attacking you. Fake name, fake email. Okay, Dwayne Pussy Pants. So, it's just whatever. But like I said, that quote really like got to me. I'm glad that I saw that recently because it's so true. Like you'll never see, even there's people that have tons of videos on these, you know, billionaires, etc. These rich people, these celebrities, all type of stuff. But you never see these people go back and attack these other people. Oprah, prime example too, got tons of hate, still does to this day. She ain't wasting her time trying to argue back and forth with you broke niggas. She don't give a crap about you all. Her career and her salary speaks for itself. Not worth their time. If you really want to prove that you're successful, you're, you know, doing it big, whatever, you just keep it moving. You watch my content, laugh, and be like, this girl, and be done. You're not going to waste the time to leave a dislike, leave a comment telling me what you think about me, write me an email. Go ahead and do it. Like I said, you're helping the algorithm for me. I'm not crying myself to sleep at night over no white person. So, like I said, I'm happy. I'm living rent-free inside of your mind. Remember, you know my name. I know your fake name you just gave me, but I don't know who you are. I don't even know what you look like. And that's another part of being a pussy, too. It's always the people that have no content, no channel, no real name, no profile picture. They love to tell you what they think, how they feel, because it's so easy to be big, bad, and bold and talk crap where you don't have to expose yourself. But then you're bashing me for being a real person, being honest and sharing my real life experience. And it's also interesting too, because if you meet these people in real life and you were really their friend, they would totally understand and hear you. If I were to talk to a white friend of mine about my bad experience or, you know, racism or anything else, they totally understand. But you put them on the internet and you're not their friend, and then they lose their crap on you for sharing your experience. Interesting. Okay. And again, I know it's not all of you all. I'm sorry to say it that way, but just keeping it real. Like I said, the majority of the people watching my content are white. I know the difference between people that are racist, losers, don't have a life, which is fine because like I said, you all are putting ad revenue in my pocket. You're paying my bills. You're spreading my name. You're helping me. Again, you know me. I don't know who you are, so thank you. You're the loser. So it's very, very professional to be writing junior high school style emails to people, both in the way that it's written and the contents of it. Yeah, very adult, like very mature. You must really be a winner in life. Yeah, okay. You also stupidly admitted, like I said, to not honoring your own contract. You said you only worked there for 9 months. That's not a contract. Sorry. And not just that, it was completely irrelevant information. I worked in Eikaiwa for 9 months. What does you leaving the Eikaiwa after 9 months have to do with you having skill or experience or anything else? That has nothing to do with anything. I said this before. I actually worked, my first job that I had, my first real job here, I worked in Eikaiwa. I was working with a neurosurgeon, Indian woman. But she was getting paid $5, I think it was like either $5 or $10 less an hour than I was, just because she's not seen as a native English speaker. This chick probably had better vocabulary than I did. We didn't get along, I'm not gonna lie. She was mean to me and didn't like me, and I think it was a little bit of jealousy there, which I can't even really blame her. But she was older than me, had a family. She was a doctor, a surgeon. She'd be filthy rich in her home country more than likely. But you wanna know what? She's in Japan, and the business is teaching English, so they don't care, they disregarded it. You gonna tell her that she ain't got no experience? She doesn't have skill? And she had Japanese ability too. But it served no purpose here. Do you see what I'm saying now? It has nothing to do with skill. It has nothing to do with qualifications. It is all a matter of chance. Who is going to hire you? Who is going to pay you? And there's some things you cannot change. She cannot change her nationality. She cannot change her race. She cannot technically change her accent. You can fake a new accent, but it's hard for most people. Unless you've been around people for a really long time, most people have difficulty adapting and changing the way that they talk. You can do it. For example, I know tons of people that are British and Australian that fake English, American English accents for work, and it's rubbed off on them in their day-to-day life. But that's kind of different. Your first language is English, so it's easier for you to pretend. But I can never fake a British accent. I would love to be able to do that, though. I feel poor whenever I talk to black people that are British, but that's another story. But anyway, what was I gonna say? So yeah, like I said, I'm literally just laughing at you all stuff. Y'all really think that you're hurting my feelings, that you're getting to me or whatever. But like I said, it's doing nothing but making me make long videos like this, encouraging me to continue to talk about these things. Because like I said, if I wasn't doing something right, if I wasn't successful, I wasn't whatever, you wouldn't have found my channel. You wouldn't feel so pressured, so tempted, so whatever, motivated to leave me a hate comment, to leave me a dislike, to leave me an evil email like that. No professional does that. No successful person does that. But a loser like you does. So again, like I said, don't just watch my content, but also keep in mind that my content is not like other people's. Journals are not meant for me to tell you this is how bad Japan is, beware. It's just that, a journal. If you were to open up somebody's journal, you do not look at their journal based on their country and be like, oh, this is a journal from an American girl, so don't go to the US. Her life is horrible. No, you recognize this is what's going on in this girl's mind. This is her life. This is her experience. She wrote it down inside of her journal. I said write it down. She wrote it down inside of her journal. This is how she's feeling. That's how you should take this away. It's a video journal, which is what a vlog is. I'm literally telling you what my day is like, what my week is like, what my life is like. I'm sharing a story time on something that happened to me, being real with you, giving insight experience that other people are afraid to share, afraid to do. That is completely separate from giving advice. And sorry to break it to you, but I gotta be real. I've been in Japan for almost 5 years. Yes, I've been here for longer than the vast majority of people that are living here. Most people do not stay in Japan for more than a couple of years. Most people leave within the first 3 years. And with that said, yes, I do have a lot of experience to share. And while you might think that I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm wrong and I'm whatever, please read my messages in. Please read my emails of the people that I've helped get jobs, helped find houses, helped find their husband. I'm not even married myself. And I've helped people have a successful relationship. It's their own doing. I advise them, I help them. You don't have to be perfect to give somebody advice or help them. That's just facts. I've had a lot more experience than somebody that's been here for a long time. I have friends that have been here for 10, 15 years. And even although I've only been here for a quarter of that time, or 30% of it, whatever, y'all know I can't do math. Hey, I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher. Even although they've been here for more than double the time that I have, I know more than them. I have friends that have been here for less time than me, but that can speak Japanese better than I can. Don't confuse time with skill, ability, or knowledge. I happen to have a lot of these things because I have experience across several different, areas. I've lived in several different cities. I've worked several different jobs. I've experienced being on the hiring side of helping them hire teachers. I've been on the side of looking for a job. I've been on the side of being a student. I've been on the side of having no degree versus having one. I've worked retail here. I've done a lot of stuff that other people have not. Most foreigners that are in Japan, they come here as a worker. They come here with their degree in hand or with their spouse visa. That is facts. That is life. You don't have to agree with me on that. Statistics speak for themselves. The people that come here as students, they normally do not graduate and start working in Japan. What happens is they drop out of school before they graduate. They either get married and get divorced within a couple of years, or for the ones that do, end up staying through at school, they leave Japan and go back to their home country because they don't intend to live here forever. It's hard to live here as a foreigner. It's stressful. You miss a lot of things. This is not just my opinion. Go to any school campus. You will see the same thing. As students here, there's students that are watching my channel right now. If you've been living in Japan for at least a year, you have already seen a large portion of people that you met leave Japan within that first year. If you're working at an Eikaiwa ALT job, you've already seen a large portion of people that started with you quit their job within that first year. People leave comments on my channel and work with, oh, I like my job, I like the flexibility, blah, blah, blah. Once again, good for you. But most people don't like that. Most people want stable, set work hours, stable, set salaries. Most people want their own classroom, their own ability to plan a curriculum, to plan their schedule, etc. You might be okay with that, mostly because the majority of you are not real teachers by profession, by trade. And thus, you don't really care. You're just here to make money. You're just here to get a visa so that you can live here, travel, do what you want to do. And that's totally fine. No shade, no hate, not judging you. But I gotta keep it real. It's okay for you because your expectations are different. You came to Japan from working a retail job. This is good money for you. You've never made $30 an hour. You've never made $50 an hour. Totally understand why you'd be okay with that. But most people do not want to work no job from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Most people do not want to have to work on Saturday. Most people do not want to have, only a few days for vacation around Christmas, etc. You can like whatever you want to. There's always exceptions to the rule. We're all different people. But understand that you are not the majority. Your opinion is not in line with the majority of people. People feel differently about that. That's just facts. Same thing goes for age. A lot of people don't like teaching younger kids. I actually prefer kindergarten age students. Most people here prefer to teach older kids, at least elementary age. That varies based off of teacher. Some people like ALT jobs. I don't. I like home teaching jobs. That's facts. I've done jobs that I don't like to do, though. I've done what I had to do. So, I'm done. I can go on ranting about this forever. All I have to say in a nutshell is, thanks for your hate. You just gave me more content to make and motivated me more. So, I'm done with my little rant. All I gotta say is, for y'all white people to claim that y'all don't like me, tired of people playing the race card, whatever, I'm living rent-free inside of your mind. You know me. I don't know you. And also keep that same energy when you get, divorced from Yoko. And you wondering why you don't get custody, and that you want to jump online talking about how racist Japan is and how they always give the Japanese person custody and they don't care about you and you're an American and you have your rights. Yeah, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. And the other dumb thing too is about the race card. Like I said, we're all foreigners here. There's no more the race card, dear white people. Sorry. Even though y'all do have special privileges above us here too. You do realize when rules apply to foreigners, you are the ones they're talking about, not me. I said this a million times before. The vast majority of foreigners here are other Asians. And second to that is white men in particular. Then white women. Then black men. Then black women. Please stop. You don't even know what you're talking about. When we talk about racist stuff like ghost seating and crap like that, you are the ones they're doing that to. I happen to be black and talking about my experience here. But that shows that you enjoy topics about racism because you assumed that because I'm talking and I happen to be black, that this is a black specific issue. I can acknowledge that these things happen more so to black people, but unless my video is specifically about black people, which I have a whole playlist on that, it has nothing to do with that then. You don't even know what you're talking about. So I'm done. I'm just fascinated and tickled by the fact that, again, like how I said, you hate me so much, but you can't stay away from my content. You keep watching my stuff. You keep coming back to it. You love me so much, you took the time to write me an entire heartfelt email. I touched you that much. I've never done that in my life. What a loser you are. You're the real loser. You're a grown-ass man. And clearly, in fact, that's what I doubt what you're saying about age and everything else. You're telling me that I'm almost 26 years old, like I was 40 or something like that, which it doesn't matter if I was 50 years old. If you're 26 years old, that means you probably would have graduated somewhere between 3 to 4 years ago. Not even 10 years worth of real work experience. Okay. And during that time, you're saying that I don't have any skill, but if you actually watch my channel, you would know that one of the main things I talk about why I'm able to get more money is because I've quit so many times, I've been fired so many times, my resume is extensive. And you want to know what happens? People wonder, why do you want to work for us? My interviews are now a breeze because not only do I have a degree, but I have the experience to back it up. And from their perspective, in their mind, they can't pay me enough to work for them. They worry about that. I literally had an employer say they were going to have to talk with their board to see how much they can offer me. I didn't even negotiate my salary. They did it for me on my behalf because they wanted me. And I still turned down the job because it wasn't enough salary. It wasn't what I wanted. That's skill. I know how to negotiate. I know how to walk away. I know what I'm worth. So much so that even my employer knows what I'm worth. You can't say or do that, can you? But you can write at an elementary level and leave a junior high school style email to me. Yeah, okay. So I'm done with this rant, done with this video. Thank you for letting me live rent-free inside of your mind. Thank you for kissing my black ass. Thank you for licking my pussy. And yeah, continue hating on me, watching my videos, leave me your dislikes and comments, write me your angry emails. It literally just motivates me. And just keep in mind that I'm not making this content for you. I feel grateful for the people that I have helped. The people that enjoy my content, the people that like watching my stuff, that use it for background noise, or whatever the case is. I'm happy for those people. I don't give two freaks, two fudges about the 1% of people that watch my stuff and get angry over it. You have an issue if somebody can't talk about disliking a country. I didn't even say I dislike the country, but talk about disliking an experience here. Talk about bad days here. You are the one with the problem. If your stupid white people solution is anytime something is bad, leave. Don't fight it. Don't handle it. Just leave. Yeah, and if it were up to you, this is why things like segregation, slavery, etc. would still be around. Because that was you all's answer and solution to that too. You should be grateful. Don't like it, leave. Yeah, okay. That's why I don't take advice from you. So, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And yeah, continue, letting me live rent-free inside of your mind. Thank you for licking my black ass and kissing it. Love you. Bye.